So here I am, guys, bringing you a review on the American Tier 7 heavy tank, the T29. So this tank's a rather immense tank at taking on any other tank in any matchmaking it can meet, really, as long as it's in a correct position. As you can see, it has 1,250 hit points, which is less than the Tiger, but a few more than the IS, which allows it to take a few hits, although really you want to be trading effectively, using your turret to stop taking any damage and not using your hit points to trade. It also has a speed limit of 35, which allows it to move around the battlefield in a rather efficient manner for a heavy tank, and reposition into positions it can use effectively. We also have 35 degrees of 35 degrees of track traverse, which allows us to effectively turn ourselves and angle our armor in a way that gives us the most chance of bouncing against tier 7, 6 and 5s, not often against 8s and 9s. And then we see the turret traverse of 25 degrees, I believe that is, which allows you to kind of move your turret and use it to absorb some of the damage, possibly, if you can get the front of your turret in the way, or angle your turret in a way that allows you to create a sharp enough angle that they will not be able to pen you. It also has a 5.26 rate of fire on its big gun, the 105mm, whilst having 380 meter view range and 395 meter signal range. All these come together to give the tank a kind of a balanced image, which relies heavily on its turret armor and its ability to outplay lower tiers through effective side scraping and the use of angling of its 102mm of frontal hull armor. As you can see, it has 280mm of turret armor, which, as I've said, allows you to use this to outplay your opponents from strong hull down positions. We also see that the 105mm has an alpha damage of 320, and the 90mm the 105 has an alpha damage of 320 and has a rate of fire of 5.26 rounds a minute once you have a strong, fully upgraded crew, such as my own, that is on its first skill point, and a gun rammer. However, many people also feel the need to go with the 90mm gun, which has an average damage of 240 and a lower pen of roughly 40mm of penetration. However, it helps. The turrets are roughly the same, with the second giving you more view range. The engine power gives you an extra 80 horsepower. And as you can see from equipment, I am using a gun rammer to reduce the reload time. Many people also use a toolbox and a vents to also kind of reduce the reload time and increase the rate of fire, giving you more DPM than, say, what you would normally have or what you would have against other tanks of the tier. You also see here that I'm carrying 5 shells of APCR, which would give me 250mm of penetration, I believe, which allows you to generally go through tier 9s and tier 8s and tier 9s with ease. As for the DPM of this tank, with the 90mm gun it has roughly 1800 DPM, whereas with the 105mm we have less at about 1650, which means you're less about the kind of pop out, have a lot of like, not a lot of shots obviously, but more shots style. You're more about kind of using turret armor, taking a hit and firing one straight through them, putting out a decent chunk of alpha. The DPM also does not stand up very well against other tier 7 heavy tanks, such as the Tiger, which has roughly 2100 damage per minute, and the IS, which has about 1900 and a larger alpha damage. However, the gun is satisfactory with a large penetration compared to others, which allows it to penetrate most tanks that other tanks of its tier would not hope to achieve. Hopefully these can be highlighted in the gameplay that follows. Thanks. So here's the gameplay. I'm here on Ruinberg on fire, and I'm taking my T29 into the town to hopefully dish out some damage as the top tier heavy tanks in the game. I've got all the standard upgrades you saw in the previous video, and hopefully these can allow me to dish out a lot of damage into the tier 7s and lower tier heavy tanks as that also come to brawl in the town. Over here you see me making straight for a spot which I saw on a Quickie Baby or possibly a Jingles video, and it's a great spot for hull down tanks, strong turret armor tanks such as the T29, which like to go hull down. It leaves only a turret shown really, and unless they have a very good pen gun such as a tier 9 like an E75 or a very high like a Waffenträger of Panzerführer, then they're going to struggle to go straight through your turret front, and therefore they have to aim for the very small target of your commander's hatch. You see me putting in effective fire into this IS and T25A2, and they only really attempt one shot into me between them, and that's the IS, which bounces, auto bounce straight off my turret. And they decide they don't want any more, and they decide to run off, and I've put 1200 damage into those tanks in about 38-40 seconds, which is fairly decent for a heavy tank, and allows me to fight them off rather effectively with the help of the Panther next to me. However, due to them running off, me and the Panther decide that it's maybe time we go searching for some targets, and I think you'll see me head out from this position in a second. You see me checking the map here, checking the locations of things, and decide to head out and go hunting for them. So I'm hoping to kind of get round them with this Panther and cause effective flanking fire into the sides of the enemy tanks, whilst keeping them surprised and relieving some of the pressure on our heavies that are also fighting them from the front. We see this Panther go round and trying to use the element of surprise, put a shot into that Tiger. However, the Tiger swivels his gun round and puts one straight back into the Panther. So I see that is my time to go round and put an effective shot into the Tiger, and then start to side scrape. And after he takes my track off, I repair, hoping to take his track, and instead set him on fire, which is a stroke of good luck really, being as he's aiming for his track. However, this continues and we manage to put an effective shot into the Black Prince. In this time already we've halved about 800 damage straight off of these two tier 7 heavies, before putting another good shot into the IS and effectively winning the encounter we put ourselves against these tier 7 heavies. From here I then go searching for more damage and more kills really, after completely annihilating the heavies of the town along with my friendly tanks. As the furthest tank forward, I managed to put my good speed to use and hopefully motor ahead and get to some of these first. The Arty takes a pot shot, but luckily I aim in and get my shot straight down his barrel of his gun, killing him straight. I then go searching for a Hellcat after missing my first shot and attempting to find some more damage from a game which is pretty much won. I go around this corner fairly rushed really, and a good player may have attempted to take my tracks off. However, inside there's damage to be found. Unfortunately missed the Hellcat with my first shot, which was very poor really. That should have easily gone in. I just didn't expect him to stop. However, hit him on the second, which was a much trickier shot really, firing through a bit of cover, and while he was on the move. So the Hellcat's still alive, but he's raced off out of sight, and I'm still just looking for that extra bit more damage to try and get you to your mastery badge in the tank. I go over this middle ridge road, which allows me to also hide my lower plate and upper hull really, and still allows me to stay hull down. I miss a clutch shot on that Tiger. My gun was not fully aimed before seeing that this Panther is in easy range of a kill really. So I get my sights aimed up, fire, and the shot just wafts out of the way completely, to my dismay. So here I'm still looking for more damage. The Tiger dies, and then I think everyone's dead. I'm too busy celebrating everyone's death and thinking what a good game I had. Type GG and did not realise this T29 was alive, and miss yet another clutch shot. So although there was a very strong game, it did have a rather weak ending in the end, not being able to claim any more damage out of these guys. However, hopefully this shows how you can play the T29 effectively when you are top tier in a game. And we see here from the end of score battle, I got 1200 XP and a first class, but I did not come second. This guy did, I think that's 2000, he had 2000 damage fly blocked by armor and 1000 spotting or tracking damage. You see I had a good game here, and like I say, hopefully this highlights, this was my last game, and hopefully